She weighs about 8,300 pounds, give or take a little bit, depending on how she's built, but this tends not to be one that's towed very often. This is the front kitchen, Rockwood signature, with rear king bed master suite here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. And what's awesome about this one is it's one of the most park-friendly layouts you're going to encounter in a big trailer. It's kind of, it's in a way, in a lot of ways, it's a better solution to a lot of park model type trailers. It's got an extra tall interior. It is built to be a little bit lighter weight than it certainly could be, but what's cool is with no door side slides, you can throw one of those patio decks on there, especially here in the Midwest, that is just extremely popular, and have an awesome little seasonal destination type trailer right here. While this is certainly intended to be more of a destination use trailer, with the slide close like we're looking at right now, it actually maintains a fair amount of travel functionality, mostly due to the position of the refrigerator and only having one slide in the living room. That is one of the benefits of only one slide in the living area, is that you do always maintain some easier access point to get through here. Now as we come up through, you see you can get to a measure of the kitchen storage, not in its entirety, but enough that if you're traveling and you want to stop to grab a sandwich, you can always accomplish that. I suppose in transit you could actually sit here and enjoy the entertainment center closed, and you can still get to the bedroom and the bathroom with the slides closed with ease, which is handy again for those long distance trips when you got to do some like Walmart parking lot type camping. Right away, when you step into a Rockwood Signature Ultralite, immediately people go, ooh, and they say it for a few reasons. One, it's just, they're beautiful. I mean, in a head-to-head comparison, there's nearly nothing that ever compares with Rockwood in terms of features and amenities. They are really highly loaded up in any of the product segments in which you find a Rockwood, with the Signature series being right here being like a very, very pretty well-equipped luxury travel trailer. But, you know, the different decor options that are available and the feature options, but it all kind of adds together. But another thing is just the height. They're very tall in here. So, the average trailer in the industry has a 6.5 foot tall wall. Some trailers have a 6.5 foot tall wall plus a vaulted ceiling like you see here. Some trailers will have an 81-inch tall wall, which is 6'9", and a flat linear roof. Rockwood said, we're going to do both. So they went 6'9" tall to the top of the walls, and they added their 2.5-inch vaulted laminated walk-on roof up here. And the end result is this thing is, in a way, very similar to like a lot of the park model type trailers that you find out there in the RV business, in that it has that big, tall, open feel. But what it allowed them to accomplish was, one, just a bigger overall feel, taller slide outs, taller shower, which man do I appreciate, more storage, bigger cabinets, and in other floor plans you can put the newer, bigger fifth wheel size refrigerators in their slide outs. That was one of the biggest reasons they did it. Now, all that being said, in a lot of ways, a Rockwood Signature Ultralite has the equipment package of a luxury fifth wheel, just kind of married down into a smaller trailer segment. And again, the one you're looking at here in this video could be so drastically different from the one that we have in stock. You can very much have one of these built to your specs. We've found this build in this video to be our most popular, but if there's a different way you want one, no problem. We'll scratch one together for you. No big deal. So, one of the things I like about this is they took a traditional front kitchen that had like a sofa and a dinette of some variety, and they kind of flipped it on its head by extending the RV just slightly. They were able to include this hide-a-bed sleeper sofa over here and give you more social interaction. That was one of the hiccups with the front kitchen, is there was no real good social seating in them, and now there is. Now you've got like a fun little sit here and visit, and also everyone gets a nice shot at the TV layout, which is something a traditional front kitchen never really offered us. Now, Rockwood is one of those ultra classic manufacturers who also managed to stay space age and modern. They've woven the two together seamlessly, which is probably the reason they're the #1 selling laminated travel trailer out there, and have been for I don't even know how long. But things like having full overhead storage throughout a slide out. You don't see that in the business as much today. It's all pocket screwed lumber core cabinetry, not particle board and staples. You notice that you're not seeing the hinges. You'll, as we peek through the kitchen later, you'll see the hinges opened up. But everything has such a seamless golden look to it. Now, they're not just using LED lighting, they're using high intensity lighting, and a lot of it. It really makes a difference in here. But I also like how they have zone lighting. And that's another thing with the Rockwood Signature. They have more lights per square foot in their category than anybody else. There might be, maybe a brand has managed to match that. I've not found any other brand that has more lighting than they do. While we're looking up top, I do want to point out a couple things. You can, like I said, build these a lot of different ways. We will traditionally build these and stock these with 50 amp service and 2 air conditioners here at Haylett RV to give you lots of cooling power. Now, you're always going to get a double ducted centralized AC in the living room here, but we also like to throw the extra centralized air back in the bedroom area. And again, it's double ducted. There's actually 2 AC runs that run up and down the length of the trailer. Now, one of the best parts about this model is all of the kitchen storage that you get with a front kitchen. Being a front kitchen model, naturally, the kitchen's a focal point of this, but a lot of in a way, it sort of starts right here under this all aluminum skeleton dinette with these easy access extension drawers. It's just more stuff you can get to from the kitchen without having to really move around. Now, I've said it before in previous videos, I'll say it again. Rockwood Signature Ultralights, they're very similar and on par with a lot of luxury fifth wheels, but in a travel trailer, things like residential soft close drawers right here you don't normally get in virtually any other trailer. Maybe the Jayco Eagle is one of the other very few ones that'll do something like that, and wouldn't you know it, we carry those here at Haylett RV too. I think we just got a good knack for product. This has excellent storage capacity. Historically, a lot of front kitchens had very shallow overhead forward cabinets like these, and with the redesign they put on their nose cap, it actually allowed Rockwood to extend those. And if you're looking for prep space, you've got prep for days in this thing, and you've got the nicer Corian solid surface counter standard. Now, that little pocket right there where you see the wastebasket, that actually has an outside access point as well. So you can kind of get to that from in or out however you need to. There are, of course, different refrigerator options, different equipment options. One of the things with Rockwood Signature Ultralights is that they do have the capacity to be optioned out differently than almost any other brand. You can have 2 Rockwoods of this floor plan that are vastly different. But your consistencies will be the same. Like, we've got the nicer hidden hinge cabinets all the way through. And again, in a way, this is kind of like overflow extra kitchen space here. And you could easily use this as like an additional pantry right by the door as you come in, you know, or you can just sit down and warm your toes. So standing at the position of the 2 sofas, the hide-a-bed and the theater seat right here, you see that everybody gets a nice shot at the entertainment center. But what's kind of nice is this TV can swing out and pivot. Although with the little bit of an angle that it's on, they really nailed this well because it faces the seating very nicely, but it's not obtrusive enough that it sort of interferes with the foot traffic and flow through here. We've got a remote control electric space heating fireplace, so you don't need to burn up your propane for supplemental heat. And this thing, like I said, is space age. Rockwood has stayed ahead of the curve big time on technology, to the point that here in the Signature, they're still ahead of even a lot of luxury fifth wheels. Like this entertainment system right here, you can get the IRV app on your phone so that you can control this remotely via Bluetooth on your phone. But what's nice is the Signature series is one of the only ones with an upgraded chipset where it can support dual zone entertainment. And what I mean by that is not front, rear, and outside speakers. What I mean is that you can have different stuff playing inside versus outside. You can have separate outside entertainment going different from what you're listening to inside, and that is exceptionally uncommon in this business, ladies and gentlemen. You can control that from the phone app as well. Now, we're streaming media friendly with HDMI and charging USB plugs, so those little Roku sticks or what have you, they can hook on right there. Also in the space age category is their control panel up here, because once again you can get a free app that you put on your phone so that anything you can do on this control panel right here, you can do wirelessly right from your pocket. Now what's nice about that is operating things like slide outs, awning, etc., your tank heaters from your phone. That is a really handy thing. Now what's nice, compared to the very first generation of this they put in, which was a couple years ago, in order to initially sync to this control panel, it has a local proximity circuit. You have to be like right next to this thing to get your phone to sync to it the first time. Why that's important is that means that the little jokester who knows about your Rockwood Signature from watching videos like this, who's in the campsite next door, they can't activate the app on their phone and pirate your camper. They can't do it. You know, it's like, now once you're hooked up to it, you can walk around your campsite. This thing has an amazing range to it, but you have to be local to set it up. And if you notice here, like I said, your slides, your tank heaters, your awning, your water heater stuff, there's a lot you can do with this. You can monitor your tanks, all sorts of stuff. Now we've got the Wi-Fi Ranger integrated into almost virtually anything Rockwood, with the exception of the most basic pop-ups. And essentially, ladies and gentlemen, this is a built-in router. So it gives you, it's like a signal repeater. If you don't know what that means, basically, it gives you easier access to local Wi-Fi sources so that you don't have to resync all of your devices, just your camper one time with each destination. Just a quick little pass-through, getting a look at the kitchen all closed up since we saw her open, and then we will flip ourselves around and move on. Now, the dinette, you can do a freestanding table and chairs. You can obviously do the booth dinette, and it never matters how we have one built at Haylett RV. It's always wrong. But here's why we have opted to go with the dinette on this one. And it doesn't mean it's the best option. It means that it's the option that more people have enjoyed. So the freestanding table and chairs is nice because it gives you the ability to kind of control your seating a little bit. However, you can kind of accomplish the same thing with Rockwood's dinette here because it has that free floating table. If you do want to move this around, you can. So if you're like me and you're a little bit bigger and you want to kind of cheat the table over toward your wife and kid like I do, you can do that. Now, this dinette is not your industry standard stapled together dinette. This is welded all aluminum skeleton stuff because that's what we do at Rockwood, basically. And that's one of the things we like about them here at Haylett RV. But you also maintain the storage below and the bonus sleeping of the dinette. So this is a couple's coach that could easily sleep 1, 2, 3, 4 extra people. So you could sleep 6 in here, maybe 7 if they're smaller folks, though I'm not going to really push on that too hard. By the way, all of our shades in the Signature Series standard are going to be, if I can get my hands in here, come on, the dual section day and night shades. So you can have blackout or light with privacy, or leave them wide open, however you want to. Now, we were just discussing the sleeping. Take a look at your sleeping arrangement here, starting with that big hide-a-bed that you see right there. Now, when that's open, one of the 2 seats of this theater seat can still open up to give you sleeping space. And of course, like I mentioned, the benefit of almost any booth dinette, with the exception of very few very cheap entry-level products I've seen, which this is not, can fold down into a bonus sleeper. Now, looking at our theater seat over here, there's a lot of these various things in the marketplace. What I like about Rockwood is when this is closed up, that theater seat looks just like your dinette. There's a duality and a symmetry, and there's a nice visual aesthetic with it, where everything kind of looks nice and the same, and nobody feels like they're getting the other chair. Everybody feels like they're getting a nice seat, and that's one of the cool things. You've got these little removable swing-out stands like you see here. I've got one kind of tucked away in the seat up there to give you an idea what they look like, one on, one off. But when you're sitting at a sofa of a lot of RVs, you don't have a place to set down a drink, a plate, a whatever. And especially with this entertainment center being directly across from the TV, for couples camping, this is probably where you're going to spend a lot of your meal time. Now, as you come over here, you see that when you do have 110 power, we have heat, we have massage, which always makes people go, ooh. And then we've got LED lighting inside of this, and you've got a little lock button so the grandkids can't mess with your stuff, so to speak. I do like that little shiplap accent wall right there behind the sleeper seating. I think that's just a nice touch. That extra vent up there in the ceiling is very nice for both just extra light as well as exhausting heat from cooking. Chances are if you're in a front kitchen, you're looking to do some cooking. I think we're pretty good here. By the way, when you go to the maple wood tone upgrade versus the standard driftwood like we're looking at, you also upgrade to all raised panel hardwood cabinetry as opposed to a hardwood door frame only. You're also getting the hardwood insert. And if you're wondering, am I being too hard banging on stuff, guys? I can't possibly hurt one of these. Well, that's one of the best parts about Rockwoods. Like their laminated roof, I can come over here, I can pound on this thing till the cows come home. My skinny little chicken arm computer guy hands, the only thing I'm going to hurt is my fingers. I'm not going to hurt this. While we're standing here, I want to point out the wider entry door, the bigger 30-inch entry door. And what's nice about that is if you ever have any reason you want to replace furniture or frankly just move stuff in or out of the RV, it's nice to have that wider door so you're not bashing up your door jamb all the time. Now, look at the detail work here. Again, like a luxury fifth wheel. So, to keep the doors open, they actually have these nice little magnet latches right here. It's just one of those extra things Rockwood does. It's the little Rockwood touch, like the beautiful crown molding that we have going through the living area here. It's the extra things they do. Now, we've got a very easy access dual entry bathroom. So what's cool is this bathroom is very travel friendly, but it's also very campsite friendly because it's located right between both entry doors. So it doesn't really matter where you are in your campsite. You can always zip into the bathroom and zip out without tracking dirt through the RV. But more than that, at nighttime, if you do have those grandkid or adult guests sleeping in the kitchen living area, you can hop in and out from that door. They can hop in and out from this door, and nobody really loses privacy in here. Now, as we'll see later on, they install the MaxxAir roof vent covers on top of any power vent fan in a Rockwood. And this is true all the way through, even their little A-frame pop-ups. But if you get a power vent fan in Rockwood, you get the full-blown MaxxAir fan that'll suck the hair right off of your head. Trust me, I know. Or this could be genetics, I'm not sure. Anyway, moving on. I've said for a long time, you know, I sound like a broken record here, but I think one of the reasons that Rockwood's had a lot of success is they do an amazing bathroom. We've got excellent floor space. You can see we've got good linen space. Now, people are going to go, why is there a hinge on both sides of that door? These idiots installed that wrong. The answer is no. That is an access door to things like a water heater for winterization. They put the hinge on there to keep the grandkids from accidentally messing with your valves and burning up your water heater. The, 2 screws, you access it in the winter, put the 2 screws back in spring, there you go. But in the meantime, when this is all closed up, it gives it a nice cohesive look. And that's what I like is you're not buying a Rockwood purely for the function factor. It has all of the function, but it's also got the form factor. They've got all the aesthetic luxury you could ever want here. And again, extra tall ceiling with a vault means extra tall shower than a big tall person. Like if you're 6 foot plus, especially 6.5 plus like some folks are, this is an awesome series of trailer to look at. Now over here, this is a very deep stone cast sink, and I don't know how well it translates to a 2-dimensional video, but you can totally get adult hands down in here to wash your hands. You can see you've got lots of room in this thing. I think we're pretty good here. Somebody might have noticed when I was panning through the closet, you noticed there was a towel rack. Like here we've got a little hanging towel rack mounted, which, can I take 2 seconds? I want to point out the fact that you notice how they actually have it mounted high enough so that a towel can dangle down and not dangle into the sink. I can't even express my frustration with how many brands out there will mount a towel rack here so that you can always have a nice wet damp towel, because isn't that fun? It's just utter stupidity. Stuff like that drives me nuts. But anyway, I'm sorry, I got off on one of my little tangents. But you're saying, why didn't they mount this? Why didn't they mount this little hanging towel hardware? And the answer is because no matter where they put it, they're always told it's the wrong place. So they let you put it where you want. And if there's a place you'd like us to put it for you, not a problem. Let us know. Neat thing back here in the bedroom. Remember, first of all, we are looking at an example of a Rockwood 8335. Maybe not the exact one we have in stock. Due to the popularity of this model and how quickly we go through them and how long it takes them to build something with Rockwood's insane backlog and the customer demand for these, the next one we have in stock might look a little different. But they will all have king beds standard, and that's one of the best parts about this floor plan. For some reason, the front kitchen, rear bedroom master suite layout has always been very focused on a rear king bed. I'm not complaining about it. I'm not saying for some reason like it's dumb. It's just interesting that this layout, more than any other, has always been this way. But what's awesome, guys, is because they built it with a king bed on purpose, they were able to design room to walk around the bed, so you can actually get around the bed. Instead of, like, a lot of times when you upgrade from a queen to a king bed, you'll lose a side stand. We don't lose a side stand here. We still have power outlets near it. This is so well executed, it's not even funny. Because they built it with a king by intention, this is the one that gave you all of the things. Now, one of the things you'll notice is that you've got awesome underbed storage under this. The whole bed lifts up very easily. It's a laminated bed deck, which means you've got a nice insulated pocket below you. You see those full extension drawers below. And then as we come over here, you see just like drawer-mageddon going on. This thing just has an absurd amount of drawer and closet space. To give you a frame of reference point, I have shoved the RVQ grill, still new in the box, into that closet to show you, for scope and scale, how large that is. So those big front closets in like a luxury fifth wheel, you can hang the same amount of clothes here that you can in those. It's really impressive what they've accomplished. But what's nice is by having the closet base up a little higher, you maintain this awesome dresser space down here, which frankly is more dresser space than I see in a lot of our big fifth wheels. But you also maintain a functional shelf at the base of the closet instead of getting on your hands and knees crawling around. And in classic front kitchens, rear bedrooms, you would have found your TV hookups here. Rockwood turned it into a nice little phone charging station, which is ultra handy. And again, every room is going to have excellent lighting here, and you know, switches for every zone. Any main cabin zone is going to have lots of lighting. I love what they've done with these things. I love what they put together. It's like every year they just keep getting a little flashier, a little jazzier, and I totally understand why this one is just so raging popular for like seasonal and park camping sites for, with the customers we've met here at Haylets. The high gloss skin on these Rockwoods in comparison to the common Phylon skin you find throughout most of the lightweight business, dang it is eye appealing. And what's nice, and these are the things you can't see, and for some reason, Rockwood, beautiful brand. They build an amazing product. They are not really good at marketing themselves. They're not really good at sharing their story. One of the things that they don't really do a good job of telling people about is the fact that they actually put UV inhibitors in their fiberglass and nose caps. And that's a huge thing. I'm not going to tell you that this is a maintenance-free thing. No. There's no such thing as maintenance-free anywhere in any business. Everything requires some level of upkeep. But this thing is going to continue to look like this much, much longer, much, much easier, and that's a fantastic thing. Different things you can do to these. We have added the full skin color package to this one. That's an optional piece of equipment. We put the shield on the awning so that when it is in storage, because this does tend to be one of those seasonal park type units. This does not tend to be a camper that is like parked in a barn when it's not being used. It'll keep your awning protected so the thing's not going to get shredded when you're not using it. You can see you've got not one but two of those MORryde stable steps that you see back there. And what's beautiful about those, ladies and gentlemen, is those are the upgraded 0G versions. And what I mean by that is they will literally hold themselves in place. You don't actually have to ever like manually juggle those things. They're never going to fall on your head. You will find, even on vertical doors like this, which a lot of brands won't do, like on a horizontal door like this, you've got slam latches, magnet catches. A lot of campers have features like that. I do want to take a quick second while I'm looking at this to point out that Rockwood has a fully laminated door, a full thick laminated door with a really heavy-duty seal system so that this thing stays in place. Now, by the way, this door right here may or may not be present on the 8335 that we have in stock, because this is here as a result of the residential refrigerator, which has been very popular for seasonal park type camping like this. It's a very good application for that refrigerator. But back to the point I was making, vertical doors like this in most brands, they just kind of swing in the breeze. Rockwood still includes a magnet latch for that. And again, this is that little storage pocket below the front kitchen counter I was telling you about, so there's no point in this that you can't get to all of the counter space here. We have optioned on power stabilizer jacks here, with this being more of a park type unit. Not something that people tend to tow with frequency. The auto leveling option is a very expensive upgrade that offers very little benefit to an RV like this, but this does still make things nice and simple and easy. But what's nice too is we've still got the smart jack up front here, and what this does for us, guys, is this has a programmable vehicle hitch height memory system, where effectively the thing can remember how high or low, I suppose, it needs to be to hook up to your vehicle before you're towing. So if you are a tower and goer, this still makes life simple and easy, and everything is still push button simple without spending an unnecessary like $2,000. We try to be smart about investments at Haylet RV. Now, the chocolate brown color you see right here, that will always be present. The cream color, champagne color that we're looking at right here, that is the optional part of the RV. So you'll always have the milk chocolate, but this can be white or this can be champagne like we're looking at here. Now, one thing that I like to put these videos together for is little details like this. Like you can see the Stone Guard, like almost like a spray-on truck bed liner layer that we have at the base of this cap. So that while you are towing and going, it's not going to ding up the cap. But when you get to a destination, buddy, it just looks fantastic. Rockwood, you see front windshields have just been a thing. It just took off like crazy all of a sudden. Last year and a half. Rockwood's been doing it since before I was in the RV business, and like decades before that. A lot of brands used to do front windows, but they were front windows, not a windshield. There is a difference, and actually, if you very carefully walk up while you're shopping around a dealership, tap on it, and then tap on this. You can hear the difference. The front window, like people say, well, can a stone break that? No, it's a windshield. I'm sure we've all had a stone or something ding off our front windshield and scare the bejesus out of us when we're going down the road. This has an automotive windshield on the front with an automotive windshield install. So the likelihood of the front windshield on this leaking is exactly the same as the front windshield on your vehicle leaking. Not real high. Nothing's impossible. Nothing's impossible, but man, that ain't real high. Slide out awnings like you see here, those are optional pieces of equipment on any Rockwood, even a mini light. But here up the Signature series, where they tend to be very park used, this seems to be something a lot of folks really enjoy and really benefit from, and I think it's a good addition to put on here. You'll have frameless windows actually standard. You don't even have to upgrade those on these. So you get those sleek looks, and it does hide the seal under the UV tinted pane. But on your slide side walls, you get sliding windows for airflow. So you always get that wicked cross breeze right here. Now, this is a piece of information I have actually botched in some of my previous videos, and some of it's from rote memory, some of it is just from constantly getting educated on these things and always staying on top of the game. It throws a lot of people off. I have mentioned, I have said the phrase before, heated enclosed underbelly on a Rockwood. That's actually incorrect. Rockwoods do not force air heat underbellies. None of them. Never. It's not an option available from the factory. What a Signature has and what other brands can option into are 12-volt tank heating pads. So instead, the logic there is they are not attempting to be a Four Seasons cold camper. Now, that being said, it doesn't take a whole lot. Like, I don't care how cool an RV is or how insulated they say they are. If you're going to try to be Four Seasons, you better skirt the thing, and you're probably, in a real heavy cold climate, you're probably going to have to put like an electric heater under the RV for supplement. But that's going to be true here. It's going to be true, I don't care on what luxury fifth wheel you look at. But these guys have 12-volt tank heating pads so that while you're traveling, or if you do get a cold snap overnight, you can make sure your tanks don't freeze up, and that's an awesome thing. I like the centralized hookup location right here. I think that's smart. It's very close to where you would expect park hookups to be located, so there's a lot of intelligent design that went in there. Pardon me. And this Rockwood suspension is a thing of beauty. They are, on a big RV like this, they're spending about $500 more per axle on this four-wheel independent, not just torsion axle, but also torsion suspension. The difference between a suspension like this and a leaf spring suspension is that when you're wheeling around a corner, it will try to transfer from high stress to low stress. What that means is that it will try to keep the camper flat instead of leaning around a curve and possibly pulling you off the road. This suspension tows fantastically, and because the wheels are closer together, you get less rear wheel tire scrub. That being said, I can't tell you the last time I've ever even heard of somebody who had to replace just the rear tire of the camper just from tire scrub from parking. It's just not that high stress of a situation. They are very good about not wasting any potential storage space. Like, this all goes under the bed right here, and you can see that even under the bed, this is all a welded aluminum skeleton. This whole RV has a welded aluminum skeleton, 6-sided all aluminum skeleton. The only thing on this that is not laminated is just the floor, and the floor, frankly, is probably overbuilt. The floor is built basically exactly like a Jayco Pinnacle fifth wheel that could weigh 16,000 pounds. You've got 2x3 aluminum studs every 12 inches on center in that floor with 5/8 tongue and groove plywood floor decking. That is some of the heavy-dutiest RV floor construction you can possibly get in the business. It's awesome. The spare tire cover, even little details like that, Rockwood's kicked it up a notch. Like Emerald, bam! He put the, is Emerald even still, I don't think Emerald's even still a thing anymore. That's an outdated reference. I need to phase that out of my material. All right, sorry, tangent. But the spare tire cover is a hard shell cover is what I was getting at. So even the spare tire has extra protection on a Rockwood. The ladder will take us up to that full walk-on roof that we're going to see in a few minutes. But before we get there, I want to point out that we have all LED tail and marker lights. LED tail lights flash 5 milliseconds faster than incandescent bulbs. That means at 60 miles per hour, the person behind you gets 5 feet of additional stopping time because of that much of a difference. A literal blink of an eye can make the difference between a huge insurance claim, a bad wreck, maybe someone getting hurt, or just a close call and everybody goes home happy. That's what those things do for you. Plus, they're brighter and they last longer, which is nice. Outside hookup here for your grill, and I should have brought one over. The Rockwood grills include a nice little table, shelf, and it's a resin top table, and you actually may have seen it under the master bed. What's cool about this thing, though, is you can leave it outside in the wind, rain, snow. It don't care because it's not wood, it's resin. If you want to add a TV out here, you can. A lot of times people will put a TV mount in the bedroom that matches that so it can kind of float inside and outside, whatever you want to do. And I, again, want to point out the fact that we've got dual MORryde steps. Even a lot of luxury fifth wheels that have MORryde steps don't put them on front and rear doors. And that's kind of the cool thing about this Rockwood. There is no like primary versus secondary entry door. They're the same. They're both 30 inches wide. They both have the same folding entry door handle. They both have the triple MORryde step. Everything on this is treated equally. That's just what they do. If they're going to do something, they do it all the way at Rockwood every time, just like we see on the roof. One of the reasons I wanted to climb up here is in previous years when you got that champagne skin package, it actually color keyed the roof liner as well. Well, they went back to a white roof liner, not because it was less money, it's the same amount of money, but because it generates and catches less heat. So Rockwoods are going to do better in hot season climates than ever before. Now, these things, again, are anything but cheap, and if you start looking around, they are so heavy-handed on sealants around fixtures. Look, like this is the Wi-Fi Ranger, that built-in router I told you about. Look at all the sealant they put around that. They are so heavy-handed on sealants on these things, it's not even funny. And they do that for like maximum protection, maximum longevity. If you come up here on the front termination strip, you see that that trend continues. They make sure this thing is heavily sealed. The idea behind this, they know. They don't build the cheapest product out there. They know that there are plenty of other trailers that may be less money, but they're not going to have all the features and things that these Rockwoods have necessarily. And that's why I love them here at Haylett RV. If you think about it like a car, there's, you know, an LS, an LT, and then there's the LX. In the lightweight world, there are not a lot of brands that I comfortably say compete with Rockwood at that LX trim package. These guys are loaded up. And as you can see, we are also loaded up here at Haylett RV. We do hitching, pieces, parts, trades, financing, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything in between. It doesn't matter what you need. Well, pardon me, we don't do everything in between. We don't do hidden dealer fees. That we don't do. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.